Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Pol Ke Bol. My name is Saurabh Pol. Today I'm going to talk about what does it require to succeed in corporate. Whether it's a big company, small company, whatever it is, how exactly to succeed. It's not going to be a 30-minute video. Honestly, it can be a 60-second video. There is one answer. It's one word. It's called revenue. If you can get a company revenue, that's the only way you can succeed, right? Now, this is not to say that only salespeople bring value to a company. That's not true. What I'm trying to tell you is anything and everything you do should be tied to a company's revenue. I'm not even saying profit, right? Because profit comes later, or loss for that matter. So this is a lesson I learned like 6 years ago, 6 to 7 years ago. There was this very big guy in in the company I worked in. He was a president in the company, and he said, "Folks, all you have to do is just get revenue." Right? I was attending a sales call, and he said, "All you have to do is get revenue. That's your job, right? But because it's important because you get revenue, everything else I'll take care of." You know, it's like it's just revenue which will start the process of running the company, correct? He said everything else can be managed. What I cannot manage is revenue. I just need to earn. Okay. So this is very important. And this is what you need to understand. Whether, like, there are so many startups right now which are worth billions of dollars, by the way, who have, losses like 1800 crore loss, 4000 crore loss, 2000 crore loss, quarterly losses itne ho rahe, yearly losses 10,000 crore. Now these companies, you know who these companies are. I won't name them. The apps are on your phones. Every day, you use them. So these companies, despite losses, how are they running? Only one word: revenue. You can have revenue and still have loss. You know that, right? Because you're spending more to get that much revenue, correct? So if you are a professional and you really, really want to succeed, your success is purely dependent on how much money you're getting the company. Okay. You will be like, hey, I'm in a role which is not directly related to revenue. मैं तो software वाला बंदा हूँ. Like I'm a coder, I'm a developer, whatever it is. Your garib cousins of developers, like testers, they're not garib, but that is the perception ki tester log ko kya aata hai, which is not true, by the way. I used to work for a company that made products for testers. They're extremely important. So I'll say one thing: even if you are in a non-direct revenue role, if you're a software engineer, right, and you are developing a product, please remember, because of those products or because of those services, or because of those projects that you're working on, a company can charge its customers to get money. So you are ultimately extremely important for them. कि आपने अगर अच्छे से काम किया, आपने अगर 2 लोगों का काम किया, या फिर आपने अगर 12 घंटे का काम 6 घंटे में किया, they're like, this man is, or woman is, contributing to the company's revenue ultimately, which is where productivity matters. But ये सब secondary है. You wake up in the morning and ask yourself, how am I contributing to the company's revenue? And if you are not struggling to define that, that is exactly when you know that, okay, you're on the right track. If you're struggling to define how the hell am I even contributing to the company's revenue, so if that is making it difficult for you, then you know you're on the wrong track, or not necessarily a wrong track, but you are not as close to the center as much as you would want to. I'm not saying that everyone should lose their mind and go and get revenue. No, that is not true. For example, if you are in the legal department, revenue और आपका दूर दूर का नाता नहीं है usually. But remember, every time a contract is signed, especially in B2B, right, in big companies, in B2B or any company, the legal department has to go through those big contracts. A partnership agreement is signed, the legal department is required for that. A company is being acquired, the legal department has to get involved in that. So ultimately, the legal department is involved in all these things, and without them, एक page turn नहीं होता legal department के बिना. I know companies that won't put up a social media post which is not approved by the legal department, which sucks, by the way. But I'm saying legal departments are incredibly important. You see how they're helping with revenue. You will be like, I'm in finance, like, and by finance I don't mean, I mean corporate finance. Like, you're in the finance department of a company, and you're just like, ins and outs dekh raha hu main, that's my job. How the hell am I contributing to revenue? You may not, but you know what is the biggest, you know how a CFO gets their targets usually? You have to give me 20% savings this year or maybe 30% savings this year. The CEO tells the CFO कि भैया जो पहले 100 रुपए में होता था, आई एम यूजिंग 100 रुपीज एज एन एग्जाम्पल, वो पूरे साल में अगर 100 रुपए खर्चा हो रहा है, इस साल आपको 80 रुपए खर्चे करने हैं और वही इनपुट आउटपुट लाना है, इफ नॉट मोर. You get me? So if you are not contributing to revenue, you are contributing to the cost reduction. You know, top line, bottom line, and you need to, like, the better you do over here, the less you have to do over there. Correct. So, for example, if you really, you know, achieve a lot of revenue, okay, and then your costs also go up, it's kind of pointless, you know. Although it's not necessarily, but it's always preferred that your costs stay as low as possible. So if you're in the finance department, again, you're contributing to the company's success and helping easing out the revenue acquisition process also. Because if, for example, for the same revenue, if you had to spend less, imagine now that you're spending less, if you get more revenue. So ultimately the company is benefiting. जो पैसा बच रहा है वो और पैसा लाने में वो यूज कर सकते हैं. Again, the finance department is extremely crucial in that. Then now you look at the HR department, which everyone likes to make fun of. Now, I have this huge problem, okay, where I personally feel the HR department is overhated. And simply because the HR department is the Bali ka bakra, especially in India. Firstly, HR departments in India are fairly powerless by design because the leadership is like, you just do what I'm telling you to do. ज़्यादा मतलब करो मत, जितना बोला है उतना करो types होता है. And in recent years, because there have been so many layoffs and because you know, employer-employee relationships haven't been the best, attrition levels have been extremely high. People look at the HR department as nothing but an enabler of toxic work policies, which I don't think. In some cases, yes, but more or less, the HR department, I always feel, is one of the most crucial departments in any company, and an empowered HR department is even more important, correct? Because they can actually put guardrails in terms of how a company behaves, you know. I know, like, many see, because the thing is, founders, they are great, they are extreme, and even CEOs for that matter, they are extraordinarily capable, but oftentimes in their style they go overboard here and there, right? So the HR department is always like, hey, no, we have certain rules, we have to follow them. Now I get it, you want to achieve these things this way, but the HR department is important. All I'm saying, you think the HR department is nothing but rangoli karte hain, games khilate hain, bakwas karte hain, because see, those are the people who are giving you the bad news. You're shooting the messenger. This is in defense of the HR department. I'm deviating a bit, but I'll come back to this, right? Because half the time it's the HR department's job to tell you कि हाँ भाई तेरा job नहीं लग रहा है, या फिर hey भाई you are fired, or hey bro, whereas the HR department has not taken that decision most of the time, right? 99% of the time the decision is of the management. The HR is just the messenger, and we never like the bearer of bad news, okay? Which is why the HR folks get such a bad rap, okay? I've had my fair share of challenges with HR, which everyone does, right? So it's not like, wow, you know, Saurabh is defending, Paul is defending HR. Like, I will in certain aspects, like, they are not idiots. The HR department is not. There may be some incapable folks in HR, but then there are so many incapable folks everywhere. What I'm trying to say is, even if you are HR, right? Imagine today you have, your company has 500 people, and tomorrow it has only 100. Will you be able to achieve the same things? AI वेआई का आंसर मत देना, बकवास बंद करो, निकल जाओ यहाँ से. Not yet, right? AI is not there yet. The point is, managing people, if there is extremely high attrition, it impacts the company's productivity. And what did I tell you? The productivity will impact your top line as well as your bottom line. आपका revenue as well as जो आपका जो costs होते हैं, total expenses होते हैं. If your productivity is not high, if there is no operational efficiency, okay, if there is no continuity in the number of people that you have, your business will suffer, or at least it will not do as well as it can or should, right? So the HR ensures with its policies, more or less, like, okay, how do we engage the people, how do we ensure that, you know, things aren't as bad as they think they are. And the HR is extremely, by the talent acquisition is part of HR. So if you want to expand your company, you can't do it without a talent acquisition team, right? एंड यू वुड थिंक कि कंपनी हायर करना, लोगों को हायर करना कितना आसान होगा. इंडिया में एक जॉब के लिए 1000 एप्लीकेशन आता है. आई कंप्लीटली अग्री विथ यू. And most people hate the HR because they, many a times you'll keep writing to HRs, they'll never respond, or they will just not know what you're doing. They'll ignore your CV, or they'll, treat you unfairly and things like that. But the reality is that if you really speak to talent people in talent acquisition, they will tell you, bro, एक application, एक job application के लिए 500 minimum 500 application आते हैं in a decent company. So they are like, there is no way in hell I can go through 500 applications, like humanly speaking, because एक ही job नहीं खुला होता वो company में. There are like 45 jobs at a time. Like I'm giving छोटा level पे, वो तो बड़े companies पे तो 1000 job खुले रहते हैं. But then they also have like 100 HRs to look through it, right? Or 100 TAs to look through it. On an average, one TA will be looking at like 7 to 10 open positions at any given point of time. So is that person supposed to go through what, 3,000 to 5,000 applications and CVs? Is that what they can do? No, they cannot, right? So they kind of have it tough. Okay, so their job is crucial in hiring the right kind of people. So when an HR or a TA hires the right person and that person stays for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, okay, that is when the company succeeds. If you really want to ramp up very quickly, like, hey, I don't have time for this, the CEO is like, within 3 months I want this entire team set up, I don't care, just go ahead and hire from anywhere, I don't care, just throw money at them, do something, I don't know, just go and get people for me. So that is not an easy job. So what they are doing is they are hiring people, the right kind of people, to get work done, which in turns into revenue. Now, if you are a TA and you're not able to hire people, which is your core OKR or KRA, whatever you want to call it, you're failing. If you're into finance, you're not able to find places where money can be saved, you're failing. If you're in sales, you're not getting deals cracked, you're failing. वो तो बोलने का गरज नहीं है. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you want to succeed, always think, how exactly am I contributing to sales? Same with the legal team, right? Dude, the legal team also has to ensure that your company is not doing some stupid shit which might lead to losing money. Correct? Now you see, everywhere, unless there is increase in sales or reduction in costs, you are useless. Okay? You are useless. If not useless, you are not fulfilling your potential. So everything that you want to do in your career can be improved if you just focus on yourself and ask yourself, am I contributing to revenue? Now I know this very personally because I'm part of marketing. And if you're not in B2C marketing, and even within B2C marketing, there is something called as branding and all of that, especially in some parts of marketing like B2B marketing and all, if you are not able to show numbers, okay, because all these CEOs are very number focused, and why wouldn't they be? Everything is based on numbers for them. They are like, तुम कितना पैसा लेके आ रहे हो? Okay, and I have faced that challenge myself, like, because you will be like, oh no, but our social media is doing so well, our emails are doing so nice, we got these many subscribers on YouTube, these many people opened our email, so many people are on our website, and this and that and this and that, our share of voice is really high. In that event, we got like these many leads. ये सब बोलते हैं marketing वाले, which is where we lose them. They are like, भाई activity मत बोलो, result बताओ. How is this tied to revenue? And then marketing people come and say, oh no, it's an art and discipline, it's both, it's an art and a science. This is where we lose. This is where marketers lose. So your job is to ensure, like, hey, even if you're in B2B marketing, if you are someone who's like, hey, you know what, who's doing the highest amount of sales, it's the sales team, or it's the demand generation team, or there is this team called the growth team, which works in efficiency and all of that, or the content team, which is working on inbound marketing in a lot of ways. So you need to work with those teams and ask yourself, how can marketing help you? And they will need your help, I promise you that much, right? In a very good company, in decent companies, they realize that marketing is extremely important. They'll go out of their way to go and get help from marketing teams. So you can show, hey, look at this, you had this you had this thing called, like, you wanted to increase our sales by 20%. This is how we help the sales team, or this is like, we used to get like 400 conversions on the website last year. Today we are helping them convert 600. Like, we have a 50% increase because of this that the marketing team did. This is what we did. Ultimately, if you are just there to sit and look pretty, then you should go to Miss India or something, right? Or udhar bhi you can't just sit and be pretty. You have to be pretty and smart and all of that, right? Like, so you can't just be sitting in a place and be like, मला जे बोलला मी केलं, मुझको जो बोला मैंने किया. You have to contribute to the revenue. Okay. There are other ways also to succeed, which like are a little different, which may not be tied to revenue, but not in the short term, but at least they are in the long term. A very good example would be strategy, right? If you are actually helping with long-term strategy or even mid-term strategy, the CEO will love you. Or you're working on these strategically important projects, the CEO will love you because, and see, ultimately it's about making the CEO like you, huh? Because I'll be very frank. Unless top management doesn't look at you and feel ki, oh, like this guy is contributing to taking my company forward, our company forward, तुम्हारा कोई वैल्यू नहीं है। और अगर है, मतलब है, आपका है, वैल्यू है, you have value. In the eyes of the leadership, you're not as valuable. Sorry, I'm being very harsh. You're not as valuable. So, all I'm saying is you can try these strategic projects, right? Like for example, coming up with a new sales ops process. You'll be like, ये क्या होता है? Like coming up with a completely and entirely new distribution model for this product. Coming up with an entirely new hiring policy, coming up with new organizational structure. Now, if you use your head a little bit, you will realize all the things I said, they lead to more efficiency or they lead to more revenue from different channels or setting up a new channel, like, a company which does like, say 80% of their sales offline and 20% online. And they're like, no, 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 no. We are too dependent on one channel. We need to have a omni-channel approach. Let's increase our digital sales also. So let's increase it to 30-40%. From 20%, आपका 30% भी हो गया तो भी it's a good achievement this year. And if you help implement that while there is someone else who has gotten more revenue than you in the company, you will be extremely important and equally important than that person because they're like, इसने वो चीज किया जो हमको अगले 5 साल बाद हेल्प करेगा. The other person will be like, मैंने 10 करोड़ लाया, इसने 1 करोड़ लाया, why is he getting the same plaudits as I am? Because you got it in a strategically important function. And strategically important means nothing but more money in the future. Or it could be anything, right? Like a strategic importance could be that your company wants to improve government relations. It could be that because you are in a new industry, there is a lot of regulations, and you go out there and you are dealing with the government, and you're like, you're talking to the government and you're talking to the officials and you are working with them and being like, hey, listen, this is where we are, this is where the industry is. Like, we'll follow all the regulations you want to set up, and we'll also help you set up some of the regulations so that everyone can win. The government can win, the people can win, and of course the company can win. अभी इसमें कहाँ आया रेवेन्यू आता है? गवर्नमेंट ने आपको बैन कर दिया या आपके ऊपर बड़े-बड़े टैक्स डाल दिया, रेगुलेशन डाल दिया, तो आपका रेवेन्यू कम होगा और आपका सेल्स, मतलब आपका कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा. You see, so these things are really important. So always remember, anything and everything, a top management wants you to do is more or less, at least in good companies, disciplined companies, ethical companies, it is all related to growing the company. It is all related to how you can increase your revenue or how you can increase your market cap. वो सब बाद में होता है, market cap वगैरह वो सब बाद में आ जाता है. you know it's all about making more money and saving more money. That's it. Spending less, earning more. That's it. ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेट नहीं करने का लाइफ को. ओके, कितना पैसा लेके आ रहा है और कितना पैसा बचा रहा है. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's exactly is my suggestion to everyone to remember. Either directly or indirectly, you should tie your activities and goals towards what the company is doing. Now, having said that, many a times it will happen. You will do this, and the leadership will be like, चल साले कुछ भी बकवास कर रहा है. Like, we know you don't do this. Or okay, you did this, I don't think it contributes to it. It could happen. I'm not, and this has happened with me, unfortunately, where I've been laughed at, by some very big people when I said, oh, I did this, I did that, and they're like, what do I do with it? These are vanilla metrics. So basically, it sucks when something like that happens. I've also been appreciated, like, wow, Saurabh, this is so important. This is so helpful. Like, this is what we wanted for the longest time. You have done this. I don't know how you have done this. Great. Wow, Saurabh, you're cool. And I've also had things like, this is useless. What the hell do I do with this? Right? So you need to know as much as possible. थोड़ा selfish बन सकते हो आप इसमें. You need to choose roles that are more important than other roles. Or sorry, projects for that matter. Okay? You will have to take a bet probably, कि यार ये यहाँ पे ना ये काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये लग रहा है ये प्रोजेक्ट अच्छा होगा, लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन गेट इनटू दिस. या फिर ये प्रोडक्ट नया प्रोडक्ट आ रहा है, लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन गेट इनटू दिस प्रोडक्ट का टीम एंड बिल्ड दिस प्रोडक्ट और समथिंग ऑफ दैट. आई नो आई एम गिविंग वेरी टेक एग्जांपल्स बिकॉज आई हैव वर्कड इन टेक सर्विसेज एंड टेक प्रोडक्ट, राइट? सो sorry about that. So it's extremely important. It's extremely important that these people uh, who you look up to, who you work with, they are also contributing to the revenue of the company or the strategic goals of the company. As simple as that, right? So these are my thoughts on how to succeed. In any company for that matter, just tie yourself close to the revenue, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for this video, for watching this video. We have crossed 225 subscribers. चल क्या रहा है? I'm so happy. Please keep subscribing, sharing it with your friends. Liking, commenting really helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much. This is Polke Bol. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed out on a very good point. Let me know. See ya.